All right, I did forget to start recording, so I'm just gonna quickly say now that I'm starting the recording that we have we have several weeks here left, and the potential direction is for us to meet for two more times right here. And then for the month of April, we'll be online. So because this is the hybrid class, we met actually more than online, and I went through more of a conversation of that, but let me know your thoughts if you have any strong ones. I've already heard from people in the class here. We're going to meet in person or remote, or like this flex class, we're up here uh the next couple of weeks in March, and then we'll make the month of April the 4 weeks plus then the final um online meeting synchronous, asynchronous, so that you can concentrate on whatever's posted, and I may even have a video that's posted as well. Okay, so now going back into architectural styles, these are the styles that we're going to be taking a look at. I have a document for each one of them, and I also have a PowerPoint that we'll take a look at over here. Just as a review of the week, we have the architectural styles. I have this document from before that has a little bit of each style that I've selected that you can plug into this kind of matching of these 14 kind of high-end ones. I know there are several others as well. So that's one kind of assignment 14. And then assignment 15 is I love these lately. These shared documents. I didn't put a whole lot in here, but my thought is for this shared document, and I think some of you have already been in there. I will go there now. It was Blake. That you would use this link above to create one or two slides documenting slide to document illustrating a different architectural style than what we covered in class and different from any other students in the class. So just before you go too much in that, I just wanted to show you here. You don't have to pick it from this list that I put together, but as we said at the very beginning of the class, we said, oh, how many styles are there? And wow, there are a lot. These are only some of the different types and styles. We already went through types. I'm not talking about types though. If you see something on here like ranch style, I guess it is a style. Right. So um this assignment is for us to collectively gather information about other styles than what's in the presentation or what someone else has picked. So check to see if your architectural style has already been used. If not, so that's the other thing, we're kind of like sharing space, so make sure that you check it out and refresh for sure. If not, then create a slide and put your name and architectural style on it. So kind of like claim that's what I'm doing. And then create information that will clearly represent that style. And this is to inform everyone else in the class of that information. I wasn't going to post this at first, but my computer crashed on me and I couldn't see or get to the part to turn this off, and students had already started it. So I'm just leaving it, leaving it, but I was going to, present and then turn it on. So these are the modules and the things that we're going to do um, within this week. Uh, Looking at architectural styles, the way match the styles, and then documentation of additional styles that you guys do for us to work with. All right. So we've talked about some of these, but each one of these has a document that gives you a little bit more about it if you'd like to read up on it. I think the craftsman style is beautiful, and I do, and I also have, let me take a minute to go over here and see if I have a few more photos I might want to bring into the presentation. But I think because we have the internet now, it's pretty amazing. The last, I taught this class for 10 years on campus without the online resources, and then developed it as an online course. And then someone else taught it, which is great. But coming back to it, let me take a look here. I may have a few more pictures for each one. Let me just take a quick look over here. No. So like I said, well, yeah, I guess I do have one or two different ones like this one here. There are so many out there. If you do a search for craftsman style, you'll see this whole page of imaging that will define and give you that style. But what I like about some of these styles that are after the Industrial Revolution, a lot of them are American styles, is that some of them, like this one, has built-in furniture that kind of brings the whole style inside and out together, and even craftsman style chairs. Maybe some of you have one of these. I went to go buy one. This was like 10 years ago. It was like $500 or more for a chair.
Yeah, good book.
I think that was even 10 years ago. So it's probably, if you go online and find out the price of a craftsman style chair like this, I'd be interested in finding out how much it is now. But some of this I took from a book that I wrote. Um, so when I first moved to East Point, I noticed that there were a lot of really old style historic homes. So I started documenting those, and then I found out that it was a good fundraiser for the roof for the one-room schoolhouse that was in East Point. I was on the historical society, so we created um we created actually walkthrough tours of of some of the prominent ones. And in this book, I described the styles. This one right here is in East Point. It's on Topher. It's beautiful. And it's been refurbished, renovated to bring it back, um, restored to all of the craftsman style in the inside too. I have pictures in the inside. I should really bring them here. But these are examples of the craftsman style. So when you walk into the craftsman style, the sense of openness, the rusticness. I won't read all of this, but I do want to pick out a couple of things here about it. You'll see that um, we have this long sloping roof line and the big overhang porch. The big thing would be these porch pillars that um that kind of start off smaller and taper down here. You'll see a couple of other things in here. The built-in layers of wood makes it just so beautiful. And usually I don't have the interiors. I have that show it, but usually the fireplace is symmetrical, and there's a lot of wainscoting and beautiful interiors for sure. In fact, I would like to show you that here. I'm sure that you guys could look at it too, but Craftsman house interior space, and let's just do that. I won't do this for all of them, but look at how beautiful that is. I love the wood. This would be my, I don't like the modern, you know, stripped of that, that soft wood. Let's see if I can find a picture. Something like this is what I was talking about, where you have a fireplace, it's symmetrical. There's a lot of wood lining it. There's a cabinet down below with this big um mantle and the windows, that's all inside that house that I showed you here. Yeah. All right, so craftsman style is one that we're looking at, and you can tell by um, by a lot of its features. Let's take a look at the next one, which would be the federal style. You can tell by these pictures, a little bit different style. I have also a document on that one here. It kind of shows a little bit about it right here. So a lot of this fan-like door, you see that one right there? This one right here is really important to us. So when we talk about the federal style, it has this kind of like curved arch over top of it with the side lights here. I think and then the Palladian windows, we'll be taking a look at a little bit later on, kind of looking like that with the arch there. Um, the balustrades, which are like columns that are on a porch like this right here. And so the federal style then looks kind of formal as well. So that's another style that we're looking at. Let's see what the next one is Georgian, the Georgian style. You can see by the photos already that there's this kind of symmetry with the chimneys on both sides. And I have a document for that one as well. We have the gambrel or the hip roof. And as you go through this information, you'll see that there's this central order to the plan that's symmetrical. The doorway usually has this this kind of arch over top of it, but the facade you can see is very square windows with these little muttons. There's mullions and there's muttons. There's a difference between those two. So I did include some other pictures in this document, looking at the Georgian style right there, and boxy with the chimneys and the windows with the shutters, right? Yeah. Okay. Next is the Gothic revival. Now we have a Greek revival and we have a Gothic revival. So we looked at Gothic, we looked at Greek. So now later in life, we find that there are a lot of revivals where the style is brought back and in a little bit different way, still brings some of the same characteristics, but this is like later on in life, 1840 to 80. Okay, there it is right there. Let's see. So this is the Gothic. So when you think about Gothic revival or really the original Gothic cathedrals that we saw, one of the biggest things you see is the pointed arches, right? So we know that identifying those with that, but also the steep roof pitches, the cross gable. So in plan, it's sort of like a cross or a plus sign where the two rectangles meet. Decorative barge boards, that's what this is here. We'll see a lot of that, the pointed arches, the stained glass. One-story porch here with those Gothic arches. Okay, so I think I have a few more down here. Yeah. So sometimes it's hard to identify these styles because you'll see a lot of different styles in one house or one building. So it's more about the elements. That's what we're going to talk about next week. Next week, we're going to concentrate on all of the architectural elements that define the styles. So like a dictionary of all the different terms and, like the barge board and things that we're talking about. We're gonna kind of go through all of that. So it's hard to identify sometimes these because sometimes it is a little bit of both, but you can really tell that that is Greek revival because it has the pediment and it has the frieze across the top. It has the Doric, um, pilasters and columns here. You probably would have known that even if I didn't tell you that right? You would have seen this building and thought, must be something Greek. Because we looked at that when we looked at the Greek, Greek architecture. So, but there are a couple other things here, like the stairs going up to it, the grandness of it as well. All right, so the whole idea behind today also is to get us like familiar with all of these different styles and taking a look at some of the features of them. Like this one, the Italianate. Italianate, beautiful, right? It has those big brackets underneath these overhangs and usually a big tower that's square on the end of it like this here. But the brackets really make it 2 or 3 stories, rarely 1 story, low pitched roof, large decorative brackets. Like you can see that some of these styles were based on just a few of the elements that are like kind of combined and designed as part of it. So how do people come up with like what makes it a different style? But if you look at the list, we have endless architectural styles and even more creating now new ones on the way. The wraparound porch, the decorative um, columns here, all Italianate. All right, the next one here we're going to be taking a look at is the modern style. Modern style, which is kind of easy, not easy, but it's kind of like to look at it. When you say modern, oh, here's another example of Italianate. You can see the big brackets and that kind of square piece coming out. Oh, I guess not that. We're looking at Queen Anne. Let's take a look at Queen Anne. um, yeah. Yes. I think Queen Anne is beautiful as well. A lot of Queen Anne everywhere, but this is one that's in East Point. Uh, you can really tell by all of the different colors as well. You can see that we have, in fact, the owners of this, Ken and Mela, were good friends of mine. They lived not too far from where I was, and they, I worked with them and toured through their house and had conversations with them about the different things that they did to go back to that Queen Anne. You should have seen this house before it was renovated. It really, if you know them, the the movie or the show called The Monsters, they lived in this old infested kind of like it was actually this house was um, designated unlivable. It was abandoned, and so they picked it up and renovate renovated it, which I'm really glad they did. But those sumac red, olive, and brown colors are a big part of this style, along with the um decorative porch. You can see that there's a lot of kind of woodwork here, shingles and wraparound porch as well. Let's take a look at some of these other pictures. You've got this big turret usually as part of it, but you can look at the colors. The colors are really prominent there, the red, olive, browns. Usually some kind of tower that is a part of it there. Let's see. This one is really Queen Anne when you have this kind of round piece that's coming out with the wraparound porch and the decorative detailing in the porch handrail and the columns. All right. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know. There's something about that that's really beautiful, and the detailing of all the woodwork in the Queen Anne. There's a little bit of shingle style that's a part of Queen Anne, so you might look at it and think it's the shingle style, but it's actually um, Queen Anne elements in it as well. Here's one right there. All right. So I have some in this one too, probably the same ones in this document right here. Okay, moving forward, we have the Second Empire. Now, Second Empire, I sometimes wondered about putting this one in the lecture because it's not that different from um the Italian name. Well, for some reason this one's not opening. I don't understand why. Let's take a look. Here it is. Just don't know why it's not opening. Maybe this was the culprit of why the computer crashed. Oh yeah, I was hoping that it didn't crash at me again, but okay. So here's the Italianate. It's very similar to the Second Empire. The difference is that it has this type of mansard roof. You see how the roof kind of comes down and slopes a little bit. It's at an angle. Let's see, identifying features. Wide overhangs, large decorative brackets, just like the, oh wait, Second Empire. This is the Italianate. Hold on. What happened to my, there it is. There it is. So it's like the Italianate, but with the mansard roof. So the mansard roof is this right here. So that's why you see how hard it is sometimes to know what style it is. You kind of know the elements. You look at the elements, you look at the mansard roof, you see the big brackets that are like the Italianate, but now it's Second Empire. So I think you'll find that with some of the styles, there's some overlap and some are just obvious, like it is that style based on the different elements that make up that style. Okay. Here's some other examples of Italianate. And then we have Tudor, the Tudor style. We see a lot of these in Mount Clemens. They have the prominent part about this is that half timber kind of white stucco behind it with timber in the front and the chimney pots. Have you guys seen these chimney pots? They're kind of cool. So Tudor style, if you drive through Mount Clemens or even some parts of Grosse Pointe, you'll see this this style. It's like halfway, half timbered building has exposed wood framing. Okay. So I did put a couple more styles in here, remember, because I saw these styles locally, the Beaux-Arts, which we haven't looked at yet. There it is there. Bringing back some of that classical formal symmetry and order. Monumental classical ornamentation, yeah. With the big balconies like this, big port, where are we going? Right there. Give me a look at that big, formal entrance. And the last couple here, modern, I already have it here. The modern style, also called the international style. It just, after the Industrial Revolution, took away all the decorative ornamentation and made it more kind of streamlined with these.
It's so weird to think about those things are 100 years old.
What's that?
Like those, that house,
It's-
or like, look, where CA's. It's
Yeah,
100 years old.
right.
It's not modern.
Right, that's the hard thing about saying modern, right? That's why contemporary, the word contemporary, if you look it up, it's meaning like something that's new and like now, right? But it's still coined as being this modern, sleek look, which was way back, right? And 100 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I think it had a lot of importance after all of those styles that had so much decoration and so much detailing and craftsmanship and everything that was before the Industrial Revolution, it was all stripped away. We had this steam engines and machine age where now it was it was really an extreme modern, right? So although we might think of it as being modern now, because modern to us means that it's now, right? And that's like the word contemporary was so confusing to me because people would use it to describe something that was 100 years ago, but contemporary is really like what, what would be thought of as being now, present time. So yeah, it is kind of a strange concept that these are kind of the art modern style, international style. So you can tell, I don't know if I need to explain it all. It's mostly flat roofs and uh, very sleek, even all of the commercial buildings out there that are considered modern style would be these kind of box type, like this machine. Look, and I put this one in here to see that even now we look at buildings that have different styles right next to each other. We have this modern one right next to this, classic Georgian style or um house next to it. Okay. So then the prairie style is thanks to Frank Lloyd Wright, we see a house that is different than anything that we had in the past with these low pitched roofs, these huge overhanging eaves, the horizontal lines of the house. He also does bring it organic architecture to us. So in the detailing, central chimney, open floor plans, rows of small windows, one-story projections. I toured this house several times, and several like this in Chicago, where his home and studio was, worth it knowing about and studying. The prairie style is is kind of its own style. All right. And then I don't know why I put this in here, but it's a revival. I back over like the other two revivals, the Greek and the Gothic, we have a Romanesque revival style. You can imagine that based on us studying it, that it would have these deep arches. They're concentric arches, an arch inside of an arch, over the entranceways at the windows. So Romanesque revival. I think this is a fun part is, the fun part is like seeing that there's so many elements that make up all of these different styles. Shingle style, it's funny that they even have, a style that's called a shingle style, right? Because you saw some of that in the Queen Anne as well, but if a house is completely shingle, and it was during this time when um there's so many different architects that made a difference, guys. And in a class like this, we can't really like go through all of them, but I'm hoping that you will take a look at some of um Richardson's houses, and the way that some of these architects have brought to us the natural materials. Um, Frank Lloyd Wright, same. The natural colors, rustic homes, bringing back the shingles. Okay, with the gable, but also take a look at some of the detailing. You see how this kind of like curves over? You've got these little like eyelets that are a part of the window, um, the top of the windows there. I don't think I've learned anything more about this. I did also mention that Frank Lloyd Wright's home and studio right here. Did I have a picture of that? No. Right here in Chicago is a shingle style with all of those kind of rustic elements in it. Okay, cool. All right, I think that's it. I think I might have, I don't, oh yeah, there it is. That's the Frank Lloyd Wright home in Chicago. Oh gosh, I don't even know why I put these in here. These are things that I drew. I don't know why they're in here, guys. They're just in here. Projects that I worked on, things that I drew when I was in Chicago. So yeah, no, I don't know why. So let's take a look. I think I have an actual quiz to see if you guys know what they are. This showed the PowerPoint without the names of it. Would you know? You might. Um, Right. So let's take a look. This was something I used a long time ago, but I think it would be, I'm gonna save it so that I can use it. Okay, I guess I'm not gonna do it right now. All right, so let's take a look and see if you know what the styles are. What do you think this style is? Anybody? You can write it in the chat if you want. Queen Anne, right? Queen Anne,
Yeah.
yay. So when we had this class on campus, you guys would write all this down, and it would be kind of an in class. Quiz. But yeah, if you guys know the answer to this, you can go ahead and write it in the chat. There's that one, which is, somebody said was Queen Anne. Good job. All right, how about this one? What do you think? Greek revival. See, you guys are good. This one? Anybody?
Georgia.
It's gonna be the same. Thank you for writing it on the chat there, guys. I'd like you to, chime in and tell me what style you think is this. All right. What do you think of this one, guys? Yep, Italianate. And you see, this is actually showing you a few more pictures of it. So now can you get a sense of it? You see this? This is similar to this, but the other one just kind of like outlined it. But I think there might be a few more pictures that are different, like this one. I added way more, but, I don't know. So many photos online now. All right, what do you think of this one? Anyone but Ryan? No. Anyone over there in this class? How are you guys doing way over there in the back row? What style do you think this is? Yes, Gothic revival. Thank you. You could, anyone online could do it as well. All right, this one's kind of a tough one because it's there's not that different from the Italian 8. What do you think? Take a look. Second Empire. Second Empire. This one.
Fox.
Single. And do you remember the names of these guys? Thank you for writing it in, guys, on the online and somebody else talking in class here. Good job, guys. How about this one? I mean, kidding. Yeah, I'll do this one. Modern, right? Because
say modern stuff.
I know it's like crazy. How about this one? Starts with a P. I love the prairie style because it's got all this horizontal, all the horizontal huge overhangs. Kind of the idea is that it blends in with and is part of the landscaping, um, more horizontal. And then this one, Craftsman. I did include a couple other photos there as well, and they're well, those are the answers to it. All right, good job, guys. Good job. All right, so these are the styles that I selected at one point in life to, to illustrate and talk about. Mm. So then, for your projects, you have a couple of things here. You've got the styles here to match the matching game. And then also, let's take a look at how you guys are doing. I don't know if I'm going to go in here, but I will. On these architectural styles, this is a shared file. Let's see where we're at. Woo! Oh, okay. Nice. People if they're getting in there and doing it. Hey, this is not some, I wasn't going to turn this on, but because my computer crashed and I couldn't get to turning it off after I turned it on. There are a lot of really great architectural styles out there, and having class time to work on these and going through some of these together is a part of what we're doing today. If you do a search for architectural styles, which you probably already have, you will see that there are several, and there'll be a huge list. Architectural styles. Everything from like Google architecture. We probably did some of this at the beginning, but when you go through and look at some of these architectural styles, you'll see that the ones that we've covered are the ones that are kind of at the top of the list, right? But you might find a few others that we um haven't looked at, like deconstruction, deconstructionist architecture. Yeah, there's so many. I can't even. Yeah, it just keeps going. Google or Googie architecture. What's that? There was another one. That's right. I posted it. That's right. I posted this. Did you say, Lisa?
Deconstructivism.
Deconstructionism. That's right. Okay. Oh, where did it- So there are some really different ones out there that we haven't looked at, like Googie architecture. I'm hoping you guys will find these kind ones um we haven't found that you can document for the rest of the class as another style. That you don't have to pick it up from this list. In fact, I'm gonna take this out of here because I don't want you to be limited to those. I don't want you to feel like you have to get that from the list. So bless you. Thank you. So you guys decide um on the style that you'd like to document, and then next week we'll go through some of these. That would be a good idea. And we're also going to take a look at next week, looking at the elements of architecture, along with we have other topics that we'll be taking a look at, like historic preservation and restoration. If you're interested in that, that's kind of a cool topic as well. All right. I know that other professors have had you create big, display boards of your styles. I think for me, I'd like you to be aware of all of the architectural styles in place. Um, and document those, spend the time to go through and find a one that's unique that you can share with the rest of the class. So let's use the rest of the class time to kind of finish those things and move forward next week with looking at all those elements that make up our architectural world. And also, like I said, historical preservation and restoration, because those are important when we're talking about preserving and restoring gems for us. All right, guys, have a great week. We will see you next week.